Martyn, thanks for your time today. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Kevin.
Martyn, at the Safety in Action conference, you'll be talking about emotional capitalism. It's a new concept for many of us. Do you have any simple tips or how you can introduce that concept to us?
Sure. Emotional capitalists really are the new leaders. They recognise that in business today we're working with a new balance sheet. Previously we've worked in the old economy, focused pretty fairly and squarely on the physical and financial assets with any business, the bottom line if you like. We then come to recognise the importance of the intellectual assets, the business processes and databases, etc. More recently, we've really had to start to understand that the things that really drive business, beyond the physical and beyond the financial and beyond the intellectual, are really the emotional assets. The energy, the enthusiasm, the commitment held in the hearts of everyone connected with the business that will really determine whether or not a business will survive in this current climate. It's emotions that will determine whether people will work well for us in the end. It's emotions that determine whether they'll buy from us, whether they'll employ us, whether they'll enter into business relationships with us. It's these assets that really create value in a business. And it's these assets that we've really got to focus on. And I call these people emotional capitalists because they're squarely focused on their responsibility to develop these critical assets in business to create competitive advantage.
What are the top 3 characteristics of a good leader?
Well, I think while there are hundreds of books and articles that describe how to be a better leader, there are very few actual studies that have taken the time to really demonstrate what these skills look like. So what are the skills that characterize effective leaders? Well, it turns out when you measure these skills, 7 specific competencies emerge, and 3 of these competencies enable leaders to do 3 important things. The first thing is that these effective men and women seem to really know how to tap into the aspirations that bring people to work in the first place. People have come to work to achieve something worthwhile and valuable. This kind of leader knows that it's essential to tap into those aspirations to inspire others. They understand that fundamentally people need to belong. They need to belong to groups. So great leaders focus on the importance of building shared identities to create cohesive, productive and effective teams. And thirdly, they know how to incentivize staff to be productive by engaging on the real drivers of human performance, which are emotions. So what moves you from good to great as a leader is your ability to manage your emotions well and influence the emotions of other people around you. And we saw that dramatically illustrated recently, I think, in President Obama's speech. He moved well beyond talking about economic stimulus packages, and the real power of his leadership was his capacity to tap into the hearts and minds of people who may be currently anxious or depressed or whose morale is at least low, and provide a compelling and credible vision. So he talked about spirit and determination and the optimism that has sustained us. He said that he was going to appoint leaders who could come up with innovative, fresh ideas, that he had confidence in his team, and that he deeply believed in the resilience of a nation. And you can see in all that language, I think, that it goes well beyond rational and analytical and taps into those deeper drivers of emotional resonance. And the great news is all of these skills can be learnt by any of us.
How can better leadership help OHS professionals do their job?
Well, I think without being trite or too tactical in response, I think it's probably helpful for each of us to think about someone who's had a big influence on our lives. Someone who's inspired us to take a certain direction, or whose personal life and personal values have impacted and resonated on our own values and brought them to life. And if we ask ourselves, what was it about that person that impacted upon me so powerfully? And well, chances are it wasn't their intellect, and it certainly wasn't their good looks. More likely, it was a set of personal qualities that resonated with your values, that brought them to life in you. That simple realization right there is available to all of us. And it will change the way we understand the potential power of our leadership style. Because having an effective leadership style is really characterized by two things. One is these leaders have become masters of mood. They know how to manage their own moods well to achieve peace of mind, which enables them therefore to develop an authentic leadership presence that builds trust with people. And the second skill is that they've learned how to maintain a positive mood in other people. So they've learned how to collaborate well and share goals. And Jack Welch said it better than any of us, I think. He said, before you became a leader, it was all about you. Once you chose to lead, it was all about growing other people. And these are the people I call emotional capitalists. They've come to terms with a new balance sheet. So for all of us, I think, in the workplace, it's about managing ourselves well and really managing the moods of those around us to engage people in productive work.
You've spoken about inspiration. Who in your life and in your experience has inspired you?
I suppose for me, I've spent a lot of time studying the life of Martin Luther King Jr. I think Martin Luther King really recognized that the things which really drive human behavior are not sticks in the end, or carrots for that matter. You only have to listen to Martin Luther King for a few minutes to recognize that he had that particular commitment to values that resonated with people and lifted an entire nation really to respond to that challenge. But it's not only people like Martin Luther King. I'm inspired by people like Rosa Parks, who sometimes we don't even think about. You know, a middle-aged African-American woman who on a hot afternoon in Montgomery, Alabama, was tired and decided to sit down on a bus. And it took enormous emotional courage for that woman to sit there in the face of a violent response and an unjust response. And yet when Rosa Parks sat down, the rest of the world stood up. And I think all of us are capable of these moments of courage once we really do understand the things which drive our performance and tap into them.
Well, thanks very much, Martyn. It's fascinating to talk with you, and I really look forward to hearing your presentation at the Safety in Action Conference in late March.
Thanks very much, Kevin. I really look forward to it. See you there.